Hello everyone, welcome to another video in this series on firearm safety. As I said, this is a series. If at this point you have not watched the first two videos in this series, you should do that. They contain important information. Without that information, this video will not make as much sense. So this one is about a specific firearm, and it will focus just on that firearm. The one we're going to talk about is a Glock semi-automatic handgun. And by semi-automatic, that means that this gun loads itself after you've loaded the first round. When you squeeze the trigger, two things will happen. First is it will fire the round that's in the chamber, and immediately after that, automatically it will eject the empty casing and will load a new round from the magazine into the chamber. So every time you squeeze the trigger, it will fire another round. This has a specific cartridge that's used in it, which is matched to the gun. So this is a 40 Smith & Wesson. I'm going to hold up a cartridge. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, if it will focus well enough, but on the back of the cartridge it says 40 S&W. That means it's a 40 caliber cartridge developed by Smith & Wesson. This gun has open sights. Here's the front sight, here's the rear sight. The gun is aimed at the target simply by lining up the front sight and the rear sight over the target before you squeeze the trigger. We're going to talk about the magazine type for this gun. This is a removable magazine. Here's the magazine. This holds 13 rounds. It's loaded just by pushing down each round. On top of the next one, there's a spring inside the magazine that actually pushes the cartridges up so they can be loaded. And so to load it, you have to overcome the force of that spring. The easiest way is with this device called the speed loader, which allows you to just push down each cartridge and put another one on top of it. You can do without the speed loader, it just takes a little bit longer. The gun is loaded after the magazine is full by simply putting the magazine into the bottom of the grip, pushing it up till it snaps in place. We can look down into the open action now and see the cartridges that are in the magazine. The first one is ready to be loaded into the chamber. That's called chambering. It's it describes the action of moving a cartridge from the magazine into the firing chamber ready to be fired. Now I'm not going to do that. At this point I'm going to eject the magazine. Right here is the magazine release button. I'll push that. The magazine will drop out. So this gun at this point is completely unloaded. You can see that there's nothing in the grip. The magazine is gone. You can look at the chamber. You can see that it's also empty. There's nothing in there. The gun is safe. But it should still be treated according to the first rule of firearm safety, which is you always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. The last thing we're going to talk about is trigger and safety. The trigger for this is right here. We all know what the trigger's for. That fires the weapon. Most guns have a device called a safety, and the purpose of that is to keep the trigger from being pulled. We don't talk a lot about that when we discuss firearm safety, simply because we don't want people to get into the habit of thinking that the safety will prevent an accident. People have been killed when they thought the safety would prevent them from pulling the trigger, and it didn't. So you should know where the safety is on each gun, and you should use it, but you should not depend on it to prevent firearms accidents. On this gun, the safety is actually built into the triggers, this little thing that protrudes from the trigger, and unless that is depressed, the trigger cannot be pulled. At least that's the theory. So with this gun, you do two things at once. You put your finger on the trigger, and when you pull a little bit, it releases the safety, and when you pull a little bit more, it fires the trigger. So that's it for this gun. Please go on and watch the others about other specific firearms. Thank you.